Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order at 5:03. It's the BUUSD Policy Committee meeting. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'd like to move the approval of the agenda.
So a motion by Jeff to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Catherine. Any discussion?
Yes. Where's E11 and we didn't have the B's and C1, 2, and 4 from last time?
This is the policies we agreed to cover from last month's. Last month's were already sent to, or November's were already sent to the board.
So the November minutes said, from what I had, it was C11, 13, 14, 15, and E11.
Or E1.
E1, excuse me. I don't even know if there is an E11.
Yeah, we had,
There is a conflict in the minutes of that. I don't know if that's an error with the minutes. I'm gonna guess that we'll get to that when we review
policy.
when we review the minutes. We can make a note of that as a correction. Any other questions about the agenda before we vote? Any questions about the policies that we're reviewing? About the agenda itself, not the policies yet.
We can get into that later.
Yeah.
Nope, that was just my only.
Okay. Thank you for noting that. We'll get to that.
My name is spelled wrong.
Yes, that is true. Lindsay's name is spelled
Lindsay,
incorrectly.
Lindsay spelled wrong?
Yeah, it's missing the D
It's
on the
Every
agenda.
week,
Okay.
every month.
Sorry about
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just missing a D.
No,
Usually I get an A.
my name is like that too, so
Yeah,
the correct spelling is
I'm sure you get Joan.
It's LINDSEY. It's missing the D.
S-E-Y, thank you.
It's correct on the minutes.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor of approving the motion, approving the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Is there anyone from the public for public comment? Hearing or seeing none, let's move on to approval of the November 12th, 2025 minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Catherine. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Jeff. Any discussion? We'll start with that we, under 6, the future policies to review, those do not reflect what's on the agenda tonight. So if we can edit
Yes.
E1 out and add B5 to that.
Well, the minutes may be correct.
Hi, Carol.
Easy to see
Hi,
you.
Carol.
I just didn't know if there was a reason we didn't have it.
I think E1 is not ready yet?
I
Yeah,
thought we were getting something from Sandra on that,
Yeah.
and we were waiting for her.
I think so.
On E1,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's my recollection of.
I will check.
Amanda was doing one. Is that, if that's, I'm just looking to see if it's the.
So, and
In the minutes, it does say Sarah Hellman was present.
she was present.
She was.
At
Yes.
November.
The
I was.
November.
You were not
I was the
present.
one that was present. No wonder. Sorry. I forgot I missed one.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh my
thinking
God,
about
that day.
October.
was
All right,
crazy.
Any other,
Sorry, that was a crazy day.
anything else with the minutes?
yes, it's Amanda's doing. No.
Anything else with the minutes? All right, all those in favor, with the corrections noted, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to current business, 5.1, reviewing the committee charge and the edit guide. So on our agenda here, we have our committee charge, what we're here to do, which is to review the policy audit results and develop, under the committee charge, review policy audit results and develop a work plan for updating BUUSD policies. So this is just where I want to re-emphasize that the reason we chose the VSBA to do a policy audit is to make sure that our policies were in compliance. And they've done a lot of this work through the model policies. For us to make our own changes here would require a lot of research and some legal fees to properly vet them. So does anyone have any questions about the committee charge?
But the committee charge is separate from what you're talking about with the policies coming from
So
school boards.
so the charge on your agenda: review policy audit results and develop a work plan for updating BUUSD policies. Any questions about the charge?
I'm very confused on, I guess, what page you're looking at.
It's
because-
on the agenda.
So I have review charge and edit guide.
So we're reviewing the charge at the top of
Just
the
up
agenda.
here.
Yep,
Added
that's
the charge.
That's the charge of our committee, what we're charged by the board to do.
So what the charge says is we're to review the audit results and develop a work plan.
Correct.
So then why are we
Correct.
reviewing policies?
We're reviewing the results. These are the results of the policy audit that we have.
So, but the results were,
And the work plan, each meeting, we're choosing policies that we're sending to the board to adopt.
I'm just saying, I think, the charge should say something about reviewing the policies to send to the board.
So that's not our charge, and there is a reorganization in March, so that's feedback that can be provided there, but this is the charge we're working with.
Okay, but
For
the
this
charge is
meeting.
not to review the policies.
No.
So then why are we reviewing?
We're reviewing the policy audit results, which is what's in your packet, the results of the audit.
Do you know that the Vermont School Board Association has model policies that we're
Correct.
using their legal services? They've already vetted all the language and stuff. So we sent our policies to them, and they just sent back the audit review of the policies that they looked at. So we're looking at what they sent back to us.
And
Does that
the
make sense or no?
But we don't pay their lawyers, so they're not looking out for our best interest. They're looking out for the
Vermont
School Board
Um,
Association's best interest.
so this is
They're kind of
off.
one and the same.
This is off topic. I don't
didn't
agree
think it
with
was.
that. So let's move. That's the charge, and so let's move on to the guide.
The audit.
Yeah, we're gonna review the edit guide now, which has a key of how to interpret the results of the policy. Correct, you're right. To review the audit.
Part 1 of 2. Part 1 of 2.
Yes.
I'm just saying, there's a part 2.
Okay, so we're gonna review the edit guide at this point, the guideline for policy edits. Joanne, would you like to review?
Sure. What I can see from this policy, the student freedom of expression in school-sponsored activities, is really around.
Oh, wait, can we do this?
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry, you want
review
me
the
to review that?
guideline
I'm
first
sorry, yes.
before we get to, yeah.
Okay, so the edit,
It's underlined.
when we look at, yes, so there's a key for the policy edits.
Mhm.
The first one, if it's underlined or highlighted and underlined, that language needs to be added because it's in VSBA but not in the BUUSD. Okay? If there's a strike through or a highlighted with strike through, it needs to be removed from the BUUSD policy because it's currently in the BUUSD policy but not in VSBA. If it's blue, it's our own language. It was used to cater to Barry and the prior, but it's not in the VSBA. So if it's just highlighted questionable language, but it's listed both in BUUSD and VSBA.
Can you clear up if it's blue text, what's the recommended?
The
action?
recommendation is to pull it out because it
Pull
was
it out.
only in the previous, it's like, I call it berryized.
Yep.
Because people who did policies in the past added language that they felt was unique to this circumstance.
And the Vermont School Board Association added the blue text.
They did in their review.
Okay. Any questions about the guide before we move on to the policies that we're reviewing tonight? Hearing none. I know we did this a little bit differently last meeting, but I guess I would request that we do a couple motions, that we have a motion to approve the C11, C13, C14, C15, B5, and then we can discuss all of them and ask questions. But do it under one motion.
B7 and 8 as well.
No, well, those are the non-substantial changes, so I
Okay,
would
thank
do
you.
that in a separate motion, 5.7. So
Yep.
I'm asking for if there's a motion to send policy C11, C13, C14, C15, and B5 to the full board for a first reading.
I will move that.
All right, so that is motion by Jeff. Is there a second?
C11, 13, 14, and B5.
Yeah, and C15.
And 15?
Yep, excuse me, and C15 part.
Is there a second?
And that is to go to the board for
First.
Yeah.
first reading? Yeah, I would second that.
Seconded by Catherine. So for the discussion, why don't we take these in order? And so let's look at C11, student freedom of expression. This one didn't seem to have, it seemed to really just be striking out statement and
Yeah, that's it,
adding
some
quotations.
quotes,
Am I accurate? And
I think so, and I see it highlighted up above. We are reviewing all of the required policies now. I don't know whether it was previously, but just, it is
Okay.
required.
all right, it is required. Any questions about C11?
So I looked at the statute and there was language and the school paying paid for by USD student supervisor determining content in respective media. What's that? Yes,
You're looking at the implementation section on the policy?
maybe it was in the policy. I did not see it.
Is that language you read? I
It is,
just
yeah,
read
it's
it
in the,
there.
under implementation, it says, subject only conditions 1 through 6.
Any questions on that?
I believe this is a good word.
I just, the thing that came to my mind was, it seems like that it's only probably pertains to certain grades.
Certain grades?
I don't see that.
Because I don't, like middle school, high school or something.
Let's see where it says that.
No, it doesn't.
Yep, so this applies to all students at the Berry Unified Union School District.
So anybody employed by the district could be a media advisor. And like it's the definition from statute. It is I just didn't know if that held true here, or if it was,
It seems like there could be a person appointed. True.
and just with the different buildings, I was like, that's why I was like, does it only pertain to like the high school because they have a school newspaper or something, yeah.
It applies to all.
BUUSD.
I would say it applies to all because you never know what could be created. I was fourth grade editor of my school, elementary school newspaper, so you never know.
Our fifth graders are
Our
right now
budding.
trying to put together a zine.
Budding journalists.
They are.
Yeah.
All right, so
Cartoonists.
See stuff from the kids and the
so on that,
employee.
so I think any other questions on C11? All right, moving on to C13, students who are homeless. Any major changes? The most major change I noticed was under administrative responsibilities, that it listed the services.
I believe, once you start to list services, people believe it ends there. And I believe that the general statement that precedes it, access to all educational and related services for which they are eligible, is more appropriate.
Mhm. All right.
And I just had a question about that one, because it was mentioning the responsibility to transport to the school of origin, and who is responsible for
Yeah,
that? Is that
that's a good
us or
question.
the school of origin?
It depends, because
Okay.
we have students that are transient all the time, moving in and out.
Mhm.
So once they are students who have been deemed or labeled as homeless, they could be moving here from a school of origin, which could be Northfield.
Right.
Okay, but if it's a new designation, then they go through a process to determine what's the school of origin, which could be here or another surrounding school. The school of origin is responsible for the transportation.
Okay. And is that stated anywhere else? Because I didn't see it
It's,
in the,
that's a good
policy.
question. Is it stated anywhere else? It's stated in the law. It's
Okay.
stated in the grant that we receive when we receive homeless grants.
okay.
And there's also a process that school districts need to follow in order to determine what is the best interest. It's the bid. It's the best interest determination.
Mhm.
And that is when there's a disagreement about whether the student should remain in your school or not.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that was my only question on that one.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
My only question was, they make a distinction between homeless and then children. Scroll up to the next. Unaccompanied youth.
So that's a different designation, because unaccompanied youth could be a student who's not living with a parent.
So like DCF stepped in, they're living with a relative,
It doesn't even mean that DCS has stepped in.
but they're classified as homeless.
They can be, yes.
Okay. And then, just because I personally have known some kids in our district in this position,
Mhm.
in transportation for the family who took in the children has been of an issue. And I don't know if I have not checked back in to see if they found resolution to it yet. But the kids were not being transported, and they go to different schools in the district, and times they get out are different. Like the C program gets out like noon on Wednesdays or something, and then you have Berry City that gets out at 3. So without leaving town and coming back, I just didn't know like where's information on the process for people, like what should they do? Like these
We
people.
have a homeless liaison, and that person helps families determine what resources and steps they need to take.
And that would be Melody.
No, that would be Dawn Poitras.
Is that the official title? Is it the McKinney Veto Rep?
No, because we don't always get the grant, so she is our homeless liaison.
Okay.
Well, we didn't. We usually do. We just didn't get this year because we didn't get paperwork in on time, correct?
But for that reason, that's the title. So if anyone were looking for those services, they would go to
Homeless
that
liaison.
position.
Yes, and everybody knows, all the principals know about it.
But I did point them in her direction. I'm glad they.
Great. Well, thank you for bringing that up. That's really important.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure because it was a little different than I was.
Mhm.
This talks about that.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we move on? All right, hearing none, I'm going to move on to C14, policy on section 504 and ABA grievance protocol for students and staff. Let's see.
I actually have a edit.
To insert the 504 coordinator.
Actually, the 504, we can insert that, but that is Melody.
Got
I'm looking at step 1 where it says a person who believes they, instead of that,
Okay.
Mhm.
have been discriminated against.
I had that down too.
You did too?
Yes.
Yep.
And then on the third line, after his or her,
Uh-huh.
or with the immediate supervisor.
Okay. And, okay, so add the coordinator contact information
Mm-hmm.
is in there, and then it adds right, am I reading the key right? It adds a complaint form into the policy. That was another major addition.
Correct.
And are we going to add they instead of he, she, him, her?
That
Just
should
like
be
go ahead
part
and
of
put that in there?
yeah, that should be part of all the edits.
Okay. I don't know if it's in there.
It's highlighted and we should,
So
it's
we
understood.
can add it.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it's understood. That's why it's highlighted.
Yeah.
The key says.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, the key, I believe,
It's
just
highlighted,
highlighted.
Oh, just
questionable-
highlighted as questionable language, but listed. On
Yeah.
So
So they.
how would we find out who the 504 coordinators are? Because I'm assuming there's one per building, or is it?
There are people who are responsible for the process in each building, but the overall, the district coordinator is Melody Frank.
Okay.
And so that information will be put into
Inserted.
this policy, and it will be updated as that changes,
Correct.
like if that ever
Like if
changes.
Melody was to leave, it would then.
Automatically.
Yeah.
read.
Yep. And then
So
for,
instead of putting her specific name, would you want to put like the director?
You
Special
could use a
service.
title instead of making, but there are some policies that require us to say the title and the name, and it would just be an annual change. But I think for these purposes, it says insert 504 coordinator contact information, so we would have to
Mhm.
insert the name.
I think you could do the title with contact information, like if they called or if they wrote, whatever, it's still, unless it's an email address that you're gonna be including and there isn't sort of like 504 coordinator at BUUSD.
right, it's probably,
It's probably person
Specific,
specific,
yeah.
but I'm like some places, the state, they have a lot of those email addresses.
Mhm.
Towns, like town clerk at.
Mhm.
yeah,
Or just
absolutely.
general office ad or something, but more related to 504.
All right, any other questions on C14? Questions or discussion?
I'm glad we're adding the grievance complaint form.
Yes. All right, moving on to C15, student conduct and discipline. I believe, let's see, there's just one. I believe it was just striking out language that's kind of already in there. Is that right?
That is my assumption. I did go over that, and it's not necessary to refer to the extent of the plan or the continued presence of because I think it is understood. So I think they were trying to make it.
Right, and so this language is being added, because I think it said just not on, okay. It's not really anything there. But I guess where I got, because if this is language, going by the key, it's language that needs to be added.
That's correct.
There's a couple things that, you know what, never mind. But if not on, like, school bus is listed twice and school sponsored activities, so I didn't know if that was a typo with showing us, or if I was reading that wrong, reading the key wrong.
It is redundant.
So I didn't know if that was just a mistake with putting the track edits on there.
We'll check with Tina about that. She would be the only one that would know.
I do have another question.
About on C15?
Student misconduct.
Yeah.
So right now we're looking at C15. Does anyone have?
I was just scrolling down through and I saw it.
So
They're also the APA course, I guess.
So C15. There weren't, besides that, there weren't really any changes there. But yeah, if you could just get that clarified.
Just get it clarified, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to move on now to policy B5, employee unlawful harassment. This again did not seem.
They added a few language pieces, but not too many.
All right. And yeah, it seemed to just be.
Changing condition to impairment
Yep.
and adding citizenship and immigration status.
Right, those are just legal terms, right? That
Well,
would
it's
hold up there.
also respectful. A physical condition is different than a physical impairment.
Okay. Right. So any questions on B5, employee unlawful harassment?
Are we going to be reviewing the procedures that go along with these at some point too? Or are we only doing the policy?
I think as the committee, we're only doing the
Just
policy.
the audited policies?
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, we're bringing it to the board for first reading, and
Mhm.
if we have wonders about the procedures or something like that, maybe.
Is it because of the striked out? I'm seeing now too the other substantial changes, striking out the procedure. Is that
Yeah.
where that?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering if we had definition, do we have designated persons? Is that listed anywhere that if something were to happen, that we have it ready to go? Or is that,
So the designated person would be the HR director
okay,
because it has to do with employees.
all right. It didn't
And
mention it.
It says to the non-discrimination coordinator or the principal.
Where are you?
Number 2 under administrative policy procedures.
I think this is getting striked out.
Oh, it doesn't say it's struck through.
Is it?
The underlined and highlighted in the key says that it's just language which needs to be added,
Right.
highlighted and underlined. So all of this is new stuff, the administrative procedures. So under number 2,
yeah.
it says the non-discrimination coordinator or to the principal.
So we're keeping the procedure in here?
This is new procedure.
Apparently, this says to me that it is not often that procedures are part of the policy,
Right.
but in this case, it looks like
Okay.
it is. I'm gonna check on that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense because if an employee feels that they are being harassed, it is good to have that information listed.
Right.
So I do understand. I just because of that, because of not having procedures in here, I wasn't.
Yeah, because it was here, but I know it's not
Right.
implicitly part of the policy, but
Is there's the hazing, the harassment, hazing, and bullying
HHP
policy that applies for like the students, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes,
This is on the employee side.
Mhm.
that's correct, yes.
So if a student was harassing a teacher, what does that fall? That would fall under this policy.
I think that would fall under conduct.
Okay.
Great questions. Anything else before I call a vote on?
Question is like the alternative complaint process.
Mhm.
You have the Attorney General's office and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. What about the Human Rights Commission?
I can't answer that because the SBA wrote these procedures and they're legal, so perhaps that could be another one, but they didn't include it in here.
But they do have the Civil Rights
Yeah.
Unit and the Attorney
Mhm.
General's office
So
listed.
those, yeah,
They're separate.
Okay.
Yeah, they're different entities. They're over on State Street, the other one's on Baldwin.
Okay.
And they're very like independent of each other.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, it says complaint should be filed within 300 days of any unlawful
that's,
harassment.
I know, that's
That's a
what you,
big number.
and it's, why wouldn't it be a year?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
10 months, I guess. Ish.
I guess.
11 and a half, 11 and a couple of days,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm surprised it doesn't say calendar days.
Yeah, right.
300 days.
It says they should be like quickly. Anyway, yeah. Interesting.
All right. Sorry, the motion on the table is to send policies C11, C13, C14, C15, B5 to the full board. All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Let's see, can I get a motion to forward policies with non-substantial changes, which would be B7, policies B7, B8, C1, C2, and C4 to the full board for a first reading?
I'd move that.
Motion by Jeff, do I have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Catherine. Any discussion or questions?
Well, there's no substantial changes, right? Not that I could see either. So
Yeah, like the tobacco one, I don't
really
see
nothing
any,
here.
so I'm guessing like, why are we sending it to them?
Because they're required.
But don't we already have it? Or is it just that we're doing statements instead of policy, we're adding a statement of policy?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, just those little language pieces. Those are important. Just to update.
I think just to show we reviewed it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's
then
it.
if we go through another review
Exactly.
process, it's,
But our charge doesn't say we're supposed to review the policies.
well,
This is the
we
policy
results of
reviewed
the audit.
the audit that reviewed it.
Because see, all these changes are from the audit. All these highlights, like all this is from the audit.
Yeah.
Like these
Okay.
aren't how the policies look on the website.
No, they're not. I guess I just thought the audit ended right here.
So what? So you have a
One
no,
giant
that's a great
PDF.
question. Just to explain how the audit to be helpful for our work, we have Tino's spent a lot of time looking at the audit and making the track changes in the policy so that we can read the full policy with the recommended changes from the audit. So it is a part of the audit. We just have some really dedicated and hardworking staff that have helped us make it easier to see what those changes
Like
are.
all together with the language that
Correct.
wasn't changed.
Correct.
Yeah.
To see how the full policy would read with the recommended changes.
I feel like we're pushing our charge a little bit to review the policies, just like.
Well, noted. I'll do less work. Let's go. Any other discussion?
I think,
But
I'd like to see the charge allow us to like maybe suggest policies that at some point, I don't have any that I want to suggest, just so you know.
You know, I
So
wanted to
so
join
what-
this committee for that too, so we'll talk about that.
Some of
like,
the-
yeah.
Yep, let's.
Future agenda.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So, the motion on the table is to send policies B7, tobacco prohibition, B8, electronic communications between employee and students, C1, education records, C2, student alcohol and drugs, C4, limited English proficiency students to the full board for a first reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right.
Okay.
So now, based on our policy audit results, do we have future policies that we would like to send? Do we want to keep going in order? Or Joanne, is there anything pressing that you need us to send?
There's nothing really pressing. But if you want, I could identify 5 to review next time.
Can we get an update on E1? I'm just,
Yes,
guessing.
yes,
I think Amanda was doing that.
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good memory, man.
So are we just getting an update or,
Well,
Are we
let's
gonna
look at,
review?
I mean, I
It's
think
gonna
we're
be
coming to
ready.
the end, really,
yeah,
because there's not, if there are no substantial changes,
I think there will.
we have proficiency-based graduation requirements. And that went last time, right?
yeah, I think,
We're done with that. That
Yeah.
should be crossed out and it's not on mine. Responsible computer network and internet use.
Mhm.
we did that.
We did that
We
one.
did that already. Comparability. But those are, now we're starting to get into the no changes.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
The substitute teacher one, that we haven't looked at, because you
Say that
said
again?
the B1,
Substitute teachers, action items, none.
yeah, but I think Joanne said that we were gonna have some change.
I don't remember that. Did I say that? That we were gonna have some
Things were
changes for
fresh.
substitute teachers?
For which one?
B1? Did I say that?
Remember that either.
Yeah, well, things were fresh.
Do you remember what it was that I was
No, you
concerned
not.
about?
did not let us know. Like, it was just sort of
Was
like,
that the
in
background
light of-
check one?
what, the policy, like, maybe did it in, like, instead of, it went like 1, 3, 2 maybe in steps instead of 1, 2, 3, something.
So if
I
you
don't know.
don't mind, what I'd like to do at this point is I'd like to review where we are with Tina
Okay,
and then bring back, I'll talk to Garrett about the agenda for next month and bring back any things that we need to think about before we move on from required, because remember, after required, it's going to be recommended,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that's what Lindsay was talking about.
Okay,
That's part 2.
okay,
Oh, no. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, so that's, I
okay.
don't think maybe.
All right, so our
And that's actually a good segue, because by that time we'll be reorging.
Yeah.
Our last meeting is in February.
yeah, perfect.
That's
What
crazy.
efficient
Isn't that
work we've
crazy?
all done together, even the.
So we won't have a meeting in March, the reorg, because we're gonna do the board meeting on the 8th, and typically the policy committee would be that Wednesday. So no meeting in March, and then we'll have our first meeting in April.
Well, the reorg will be in April too, right?
No, reorg will happen on the 8th of March.
Oh, and that's after election day? Or after
It
town meeting?
would have typically been on the 2nd, but town meeting day vote is on the 3rd. So
Nice.
it
Okay,
doesn't
cool.
make sense to
Got it.
do that.
Nice, right on.
So I said to the board this month, let's
Mhm.
try to do it on the 8th, because
Great.
that's the second Monday of the
Yep.
month. And, that's when you'll decide how many meetings a month, when it's gonna happen, and all of that.
Yep.
And the committees.
And there's like the annual meeting, which is so different.
We will have an annual meeting this year, because what will be on the ballot next year is to not go. Everything will be handled by ballot vote instead of the annual meeting.
Okay,
But
yeah,
we have to ask the voters first to do that.
it was wonky last year.
All right, so on that note, our next meeting date is Wednesday, February 11th at 5 p.m. here in the central office. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By Catherine, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded
Lindsay
by
made us,
Lindsay.
yay, our first motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No. I'm teasing. Yes.
Tina, note for the record that Jeff did not
Jeff was
vote
kidding.
no.
No, I'm kidding, no. I
And we
abstained.
are adjourned at 5:44 p.m.